heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Plus Platoon. We're a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We'll look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed and you will never miss a moment. I'm going to bring in Kate. Kate, good to see you this evening.
Good to see you too, brother.
Next, we've got Pete. Pete, welcome to the show.
Hello. I don't have a quip today.
Yeah, well, it's February 32nd, so that's about right. And last but certainly not least, we've got Steve. Steve, glad to have you with us.
Hi, everyone.
Guys, if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share. We've got some really fun shows coming up, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in now. If you have stuff you want us to watch, please email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. That way, we've got some open slots, and we want to know what you want us to watch. So email us there, Facebook message, Insta, anything for us. Let us know, and we'll watch it. I'm sorry that the cornfield voice got lost in translation. So, and thank you for that. All three of you got that. So, guys, this week we are looking at the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series. It follows the first Percy Jackson book, which was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Right, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Follows Percy Jackson as he goes to Hogwarts School of... Oh, sorry. Never mind. He goes to Camp Half-Blood, I think. Camp Mudblood something. I think it's Camp Half-Blood. And figures out that he is the son of Poseidon. And then has to go... We get all the big ones. Has to go see Hades.
Which he is honestly the last person to figure out that he's the son of Poseidon.
Yeah. Or at least one of. Yeah. Then... has to go and see Hades to get his mom back. So we've hit Hercules on that one. Then he has to go see Zeus and try and stop the global war. So we hit War Games and Matthew Broderick on that one. And then it's 8 episodes of Percy Jackson. I think that for those that have seen it, I would think we can agree better than the movie.
I never saw the movie, so I can't tell you.
Okay. I would say, closer to the book than the movie.
Yes.
Closer to the book than the movie. Okay, so, guys, I'm going to start out. And Steve, since you are the one who has probably read this the most, you've taught this in your classes, I'm going to start with you. What about this series what makes this show heroic?
Well, first, it more closely follows the book than the movie. So there's the plot points. All the episode titles are actually names of chapters from the book. So picked up on that. I think they did a great job of casting actually 12-year-olds, because in the book, Percy Jackson is 12 years old. He's a 6th grader. So I think the casting there, they did fine. And for the most part, it does follow. It does have the big quest of he has to go retrieve the lightning bolt to stop the next big god war. And there's there's some things that they changed that I think work for the television show, because it'd be hard to do waste what was in the book. For the most part, the character casting matches what's in the book. I mean, I could talk more about there. I'm sort of torn halfway in between. There's some things there. Yes, I could buy in with the character. Trying to think, what else did I like? Setting it up, I think they did a nice ending because I have not read the second book, but the ending, leaving it if there's going to be a second season, sort of that nice wrapping up everything, but also leaving like a cliffhanger about what it is. I have a lot more to say for our second segment than for this segment. So,
yeah, and for the record, when they they cast 12-year-olds, but when they filmed it, the kids were 14.
Okay.
So again, people playing older than they actually are. Not quite Olivia Newton-John and Stockard Channing bad, but it is. They were actually older than they were. I liked that it followed the book. I liked that for the most part, they got the different gods' characteristics correct, like the personalities of the gods. When I was in college, I was originally a Greek and Roman history major. So this is kind of in my wheelhouse, which makes it hard for me to like a lot of shows that deal with Greek mythology. I would say, I said for the most part, they followed that. The action sequences were good. I thought the visual effects were much better than some of the stuff we've watched recently. Looking at you, Marvel. And I liked that it flowed from one episode to the other. Like it was filmed so you could essentially have gotten rid of the little introductions. If you'd gotten rid of those and just hit play all the way through, you could have just watched it start to finish. There weren't big gaps in between episodes. Kate, what worked for you about this?
So I liked it. I went in with,
For the record, that's the same thing she said last week. So
What did we watch last week?
we watched
Marvels.
I liked it. So I liked it. I think it helped that I went in with absolutely zero expectations. I knew that it was about a kid, I think, and I knew that there was some kind of magic involved, but I really knew nothing about Percy Jackson. I never read the books. I didn't know any of the lore. Excuse me. I will say, Derek, I thought about you a lot while watching this because I know how much you love Greek mythology. And so I was very curious on your take on it. I had a feeling I would know what your take would be. But I enjoyed it. I too liked the casting. I liked it. I thought the casting was great. I thought the casting of the Greek gods was well done. I loved the costuming. I love how they costumed Medusa with that hat. I thought that was so good. I really liked it. Were there things, and we'll get to it, that I was like, meh, but overall, I'm glad that I was able to watch the entire season in one sitting. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. And that I didn't have to wait a week to watch. But I was glad that I got to just sit and watch all of it, because otherwise I think Confused Kate would have come out. But because I got to sit and watch it, I really enjoyed it. So, and I'm sure I'll think of more, but I enjoyed it. You go, Pete.
So I'm similar to Kate. I had not read the book or the books, or I also hadn't seen the original movie or movies. I guess there were two, right? But the original Lightning Thief movie. So I did know this was about like demigods and things like that, but I didn't know a heck of a lot about it. And to give you the positives, I have to start a little bit with the negatives. The first two episodes I thought were very derivative of Harry Potter. And after the first two episodes, I was a little bit like, oh, really? They're not going to tell him anything? That's one of the things that drove me crazy about Harry Potter is if they ever told Harry anything, none of the things would have, all the bad things that happened to him wouldn't have happened, but they never told him anything. So after the first two episodes, I was glad to see that it told a story that I felt was different enough from Harry Potter that it used the gods basis and the demigods basis. And I found it original enough that it entertained me. I also think it worked well as a TV series. Again, I didn't see the movie, but it felt like it needed this space that they gave it. I mean, 8 episodes, whatever we had here, let's say 6 hours. I never felt like I was bored by it. Now, I didn't watch it all in a quick row. I mean, we watched a couple episodes at a time over the period that's been released. But overall, I like with Kate, I liked it. So I thought it told a good story. I thought all the acting roles were well filled. I liked all the different characters. I wasn't even too distracted by Manuel-Miranda, who usually, when he shows up, you're like expecting him to start rapping. But I thought he filled the role of Hermes very well. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid, show for a family type show. So
Okay. So if that's what makes the show heroic, Pete, I'm going to go with you on this one. What should have been frozen by Medusa? What about this didn't work?
So the biggest issue I had with it is that I realize it's a serious topic in theory, that they're in danger and everything like that. But most of these type of shows have some humor to them. And I felt that this was like so serious all the time that I just,
especially once Dionysus disappeared.
Yeah. Well, I think even it was a little lighter early on, but I just thought the show needed more humor to it. I can't imagine that the books were as humorless as this series was. Again, I didn't read them. So that was the biggest issue that I really had, is that I wanted it at least at times to have a lighter tone than it did. But other than that, I don't really have anything too negative to say about it. So, Steve, you probably having been a professional on the been teaching this to your students, you can probably make a lot more comments. So,
you are correct. There is more humor in the book. Percy is very snarky at times. One of my biggest complaints is I feel like the characters' personalities did not come through. I mean, they're there, but matching up with the book, I think some of the personalities were finished. I really had a problem where they did not have the mystery aspect. Like, they got to location and they seemed to know exactly what was going on. In the book, you're sort of getting this information slowly fed to you, trying to put all the pieces together. And I felt like it was, oh, here's this part solved. I also felt that sometimes it was too quick with the action going from one next to the thing. It was just too jumpy, like, we're already to this point in the story. It would have benefited from a 10-episode season so they could spread it out a little bit farther.
Were there any major things that were cut from the book?
Not really. Medusa's character, it was completely different in the book. Here, she came across as a little bit more friendly character at first. In the book, they took a while to figure out who it actually was. They did not know it was Medusa right away. Yes, there was a lot more just like mystery involved, like building up, like leading up to it. Like, I was sort of surprised at the end that Luke was actually the person who betrayed him. That, I mean, it was sort of here, but there's there. And like the casino scene, it took them a while to figure out that they had been there for a long time. And the biggest change was he made the deadline in time in the book. He was there in time.
Oh.
Yes. I know Derek and I were talking about the Kronos thing. In the book, you get some background information from Chiron or Mr. Brunner about who Kronos is. So if you didn't know that, setting that up, and that entire sort of the Kronos eating his children and then Zeus overpowering him. I also think it's sort of missed in the book. The big theme is really that connection between family and our friends, willing to do anything to protect your friends or family, which is a big theme. I felt it was sort of there in the movie or in this series, but was not really as hit at home as much as I would like to see. Derek, do you have anything to add?
Yeah. I'm going to go in, especially with the Kronos thing, about how he was the father of all of, or at least 98% of the Olympians, and Zeus is the one who overthrew him and essentially killed him as much as you can kill a god. You really, in Greek mythology, once Zeus shows up, Kronos is no more. So the fact that he's still around as a Greek mythology person bugs me a little bit. I honestly also, as a teacher of freshmen, had a hard time watching this because it reminded me of, it was like watching kids at work when I was at work. And it's just, if I'm going to watch something, I don't want to be watching kids that I could be running into in the hall every day.
So I've asked this before, but why the heck did you want to do a podcast about Disney Plus, which is almost entirely about family-directed television
I love
shows?
family-directed stuff. I love family-directed stuff. It's watching 14 and 15-year-olds who I see in my classroom every day. If I'm going to go home and watch something that's relaxing, they're not the ones I... Now, overall, did I think this had more positives than negatives? Yes, I did. But that was one where it was hard for me. I like Kate. I could not binge this at all. I had to watch a couple episodes, then go back and watch a couple more, then go back, watch, and make sure there was a definite break in there.
Did you find also, because I would say like the first couple episodes, it was especially kid heavy, but then once they broke away from the camp, you just really had the three main characters, which like any show like this are much too wise for their grade level.
Oh, you mean Hermione coming along and being amazing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Including the cloak of invisibility. But anyway, so it's just, unlike you, Steve, that you thought I should have gone like a 10 episode series, I would have gone a 6 episode series. Just because if you're not going to add some of the humor in near the, especially like episodes 5 and 6 got a little long to me. So it's just one of those where, and you're going to ask me what I would cut. I don't know. 8 episodes felt too long to me. No, not as long as some 8 episode series that we've watched, but 8 felt a little bit long to me. Also, if I'm watching this on Disney Plus, it bothered me. It was a little jarring when they had the definite blackout breaks where they would stick a commercial.
Yeah.
It is so obvious that they want to try and put this on either ABC on Saturday mornings or Disney Channel, or they want to try and put this on FX somewhere where they can get some more money. So they already chopped it up for TV.
Yeah, there were some obvious commercial breaks there.
Yeah. Like, and it was about every 7 or 8 minutes. So it was fairly obvious.
Was it on Hulu also?
No, it's just been on Disney Plus, I believe.
Okay.
But
because obviously Hulu has
Hulu
commercials. Yeah.
Actually, remember, now so does some Disney Plus.
True.
Now some Disney Plus has commercials if you haven't actually paid for it. So
so far I'm commercial free, so I'm pretty happy with that.
So am I. Yeah, I'm through Verizon, and so far I'm commercial free. So
yeah.
Kate, was there anything else that didn't really work for you?
Some of the CGI was a little like, okay. And I think you're right. It could have had a little bit more humor. To be fair, we just came off of the Marvels, which Ms. Marvel is really funny. And she is that age. She's that kind of more kid age. So I think in my head equated this a little bit almost like the Mysterious Benedict Society a little bit, because I didn't know what to expect going in and I knew it was kids and magic. So, and that had humor in it as well. So I do think I expected just a touch, not a lot, but just a touch more humor. But overall, I really liked it. There were parts where Confused Kate came out. I will say that.
Like
I
what confused you?
I did not pick up on the fact that the lotus flower was in the air and that they had been there for a long time. I didn't pick up on that. I picked up on the fact that. Go ahead.
I was like, that's a definite reference to the Odyssey.
Yeah, I don't think any of us I mean, I didn't pick that up either until they said that they had been there a long time. Yeah.
I also, when Poseidon finally showed up, for some reason, I got it in my head that it was the stepdad or like the boyfriend or whatever of the mom, the deadbeat guy from the beginning. For some reason, I was like, is that him? And I like confused myself on that.
Right.
But so I had a little bit, and I had just a teeny tiny bit of trouble keeping all of the gods who was who.
Can you imagine after dating Poseidon, like going back to like a normal human male?
Well, okay, you give him too much credit. Dating is a little bit of a strong term.
For what she was doing with Poseidon? Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Interacting with Poseidon.
Yeah.
Let's just say because we're kind of trying to stay kid friendly. Let's just say interacting with Poseidon. None of these were long-term relationships.
True.
Fair.
True.
I actually like the plot twist of the kid, of it being his friend who's the one who stole the thunderbolt or the lightning bolt.
Luke.
Yeah. So it was good,
in the book.
There were like little things here and there. Did you just decide to make us yourself?
I have no idea why that happened. I have no idea why that happened. I
thought we were going to start a game show.
So, but overall, like, yeah, there were things that were like here and there, but overall, I liked it. I would definitely watch a second season.
Yeah, and I would say, Kate, also, I didn't see that coming until that scene where he's like walking him in the woods. I'm like, it's going to turn out that this guy is the one that actually stole the thing. But it was obvious at that scene. But before that, I didn't think it wasn't really telegraphed.
Then maybe that's where I'm jaded because I walked in knowing the twist because I've read it so many times.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's one thing that's good about this is having people that haven't seen it versus have seen it. So it's a little different view. You know, maybe by not having read the books, Kate and I will like it better. You know, who knows?
Yeah. And there was nods, I'll admit, like in the one scene where Sally, Percy's mom, and them were eating blue candy. In the book, it's revealed that they eat blue candy because Gabe hates blue candy. So Sally
heard you wrong, and I thought you said they eat blue candy because Gabe eat blue candy. I was like,
Gabe.
That is a plot twist I did not see in this movie, in this show.
No, Gabe.
You're cut off.
Because in the book, Sally comes across
wine
as very
strong.
There. Yes.
No.
That's that time.
No. Okay. No, it's kind of beer.
Yeah. Sally comes across as very strong and is with Gabe to protect Percy. So his mom is very protective because in the book, Gabe is very smelly. And if Percy, to protect him from the monsters, and if Percy does not know what's going on, he's going to be protected from the monsters. Once you realize you're a demigod, the monsters are going to start coming.
Right.
So that's all explained. I think that's where they missed some of the backstory. We got it through some like inner monologue from Percy that he had seen strange things all of his life, but not enough to explain. He truly thought he was just this weird kid who just couldn't get things figured out. So
yeah, I mean, it's always tough when you've read a book before. I mean, even like the Harry Potter movies, which the movies are actually quite good, but if you've read the book gives you so much more information. The books give you so much more information than the movies. So it's always a little bit of a letdown when you if you're very familiar with it.
I think when we did Benedict Society, Sam didn't really care for the show as much because she liked the books better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
fair.
I also like the book explains that Medusa and the Minotaur never die. Monsters never die. They could be like disappear or be conquered, but the essence of them never die. So they'll always come back.
Oh, I saw Clash of the Titans. Medusa can die. You can cut off her head and use them to
that's
kill
why
the Kraken.
that's why you see Medusa, because
Or she can get
Medusa's been
cast
killed
as
before.
Celia in Monsters Inc. So, okay.
Opie.
So, if we're gonna go on, little fantasy trip here. If you're a demigod, who would be your parent? And I want to change this up just a little bit. We're gonna guess who the other three are gonna say, and then they can explain if they're correct. So, for Kate, I'm going Dionysus. A, because it's obvious, because it's a god of the theater, but enjoying life, having fun, getting out, entertaining people. To me, that would be a Dionysus part. Pete, any thoughts for you on her? And to be fair, I did not prep you for this.
Yeah, so I'm going to admit I do not know my Greek mythology particularly well, so I'm not going to be good at guessing these things.
Okay.
But I would say that that's a pretty solid point for
Okay.
Kate.
And to be a demigod typically means you have a female human, because the women didn't sleep around and get us pregnant as much. So you're almost limited to the male gods.
Didn't Athena still do that sometimes?
No,
or am I?
no, not Athena. Aphrodite
Athena,
did a little bit, but not Athena.
Okay.
Athena was pure and wonderful and great. So,
okay.
Steve, any guesses on Kate?
I'd agree with you. Would have to be the god of theater.
Okay, Kate, and your answer is?
Well, I didn't know about Dionysus, or I would have said Dionysus. But I was actually stuck between two. Aphrodite, because she's the goddess of love, and believe it or not, Hermes, because I like to think that I'm the messenger. Okay, that's fine. I like to talk too. But I like, as a speaker, I like to think of myself as the messenger of self-love and stuff like that. So those were the two that really came to mind first. But now that you say Dionysus, that's a very good answer.
I can see Hermes. I can see Hermes for you as far as delivering messages. Yeah.
Plus, that's Manuel-Miranda, and that was just great.
Yeah, and even Aphrodite, because Kate is all about putting love out into the world. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Pete. Kate, I'm going to give you a first guess on Pete.
I don't want to go first. Okay. I wish I'd known that this is how we were going to be doing this, because.
Yeah, well, I ad lib sometimes. So okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
For me, probably Hephaestus, god of creators, god of craftsmen, since he's an engineer and he helps create and craft stuff. That's what I would do. Is I would say probably Hephaestus.
I agree with you, Derek. That's who I was going to go with.
Really super.
I don't think I should be allowed to answer, because my answer is not that.
Okay, what's your answer?
Oh, what's your answer?
Well, I was gonna say Hades, but from the movie.
From Hercules? Is that what
from Hercules?
Bada bing.
That was gonna be what I was gonna say, was Hades from Hercules, because he gets stuff done, but he's also funny.
Okay, I'm not as evil though.
No, you're not.
Pete, your god is.
I was thinking like Bacchus. Does that count? Can I use him?
I clearly don't know the Greek god.
Is he a Greek god or is he a Roman god?
Bacchus is Roman, whose Greek equivalent is Dionysus, god of wine and parties and excess.
Yeah, because
wait, didn't you just say I was Dionysus?
Yeah, but he's also god of the theater. He's also god of the theater.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with your answer, but like, because to me, when I was younger, definitely your answer. As I've gotten older, I'm more about doing what you like to do and enjoying yourself and having pleasure and things like that. So, and we even, again, you pointed out Bacchus is a Roman god, but we actually, for a while, we had a wine tour that we did with our friends that we hosted, and it was called the Bacchus Bus. And we actually would rent a limo or a bus and take people around to wineries. And so I consider myself the god of the god of partying. So
okay, Steve,
or the god of pleasure.
Steve.
Steve.
So if we didn't have to go a male god, I was going to say Athena, just because goddess of wisdom, because you were so into giving wisdom to your kids. You're so caring, which wasn't really her thing. But
well, that's what I was thinking. What's because I know that both of you are teachers, but when I think of the one that would be represented by the god of that would be about wisdom and education, it would be Steve. Not to say that Derek is not, but
no, I would totally agree. I would totally agree.
Yeah.
So, which
it would have to be teaching, kindness, or cooking.
Technically, the god of education is Daskalos, but of the Olympians, Athena's the closest. So, Steve, or anyone else have a guess?
Apparently, I don't know my Greek gods at all.
I don't either. I don't either, Kate. So
I thought I did, but apparently I do not.
Who you got?
I was gonna go with Daedalus, the god of teaching, but I like your thing of Athena, the wisdom one. So
okay. Now, how about me? How well do you know me?
I don't think it's how well we know you. I think it's how well we don't know Greek gods.
I think of Derek. I think if any of us is Zeus, because Zeus had a lot of kids, so at least one of us had to be from Zeus.
Whoa. A lot of kids.
You might be Ares.
No, he's not the god of war.
No.
Gina says god of leadership.
Gina's vote is Zeus for me.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking too. He's our mentor. He's the one that steers us and keeps us tries to keep us in control. And if we get too out of control, he smites us and puts us in the background. So totally Zeus.
Steve, you don't sound convinced.
No, I mean, it makes sense, but I'm trying to think who's right below Zeus.
Hermes.
Oh no, Hermes is just his messenger.
Yeah.
So
I would think Poseidon is right below Zeus, but I don't think of.
But I don't think that matches Derek.
No, I don't think so.
And see, okay, so you want to know
who all my Greek god education is from Clash of the God, Clash of the Titans, and
if it wasn't a Greek god, I would say Chiron, because going from the Percy Jackson is the knowledgeable, the teacher of gods. So Chiron.
Is Chiron a god though?
He's the half centaur, but he's supposed to be the teacher, passing him knowledge, and he gets to live forever.
Okay.
And see, for me, guys, it's Poseidon. I love the beach so much and the ocean and the water that that was my initial response.
I didn't even know that about you. So okay.
Yeah. And Poseidon will lead people, but if you cross Poseidon, he's pretty much done with you and will let you know it. And that is so me.
I know I can see Poseidon then.
So I can see Poseidon as well.
So that's who I would go. So we have our okay, Gina. We'll pull Gina in here for a second. Gina, who do we have as Gina? Again,
Athena.
Aphrodite, right?
Oh, my little strawberry love. No.
No.
I think Athena. She's so strong.
See, I could almost go Hera, just because she's goddess of. She is there's goddess of wisdom, goddess of family, goddess of taking care of children. but again, she can be a backwoods bee with, an attitude that you
Yeah,
do
don't
not
cross
like
me.
off.
Don't cross me.
I mean, the two biggest things that Hercules, the movie, did to change Greek mythology is make Zeus and Hera look like loving parents.
And they were
Right.
They were not at all.
not. They were
No,
not.
no.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Now, as we all do, Gina, thank you for jumping in there. As we always do, we do Cups of Pixie Dust out of 5 for season 1 of Percy Jackson. Kate, starting with you as always.
I'm between a 2.5 and a 3. I feel like a 3.
If it helps you
That
give
was
the
good.
Marvels a 3. And
You know
Lady
what?
in
I'm
the
feeling
Tramp,
generous. I'm feeling generous tonight. I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm feeling generous.
Okay. Pete?
Because I would rewatch it. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, this to me is a solid 3. I give something a 3 if it's something that I would recommend to other people to watch and would also not be upset if I were just to watch it, not necessarily something I would immediately go and watch again, but like I wouldn't be upset if someone like was if my daughter said, "Oh, I want to watch this," and I watched it with her. So, yeah, it's a 3 for me for sure.
Derek, what did I give Marvels?
You Marvels a 3.
This has to be
Sorry,
2.5.
you gave Marvels a
then.
2.5. Sorry, you gave Marvels a
2.5.
2.5.
Oh, I'm like Kate. I'm torn between the 2.5 and the 3. I'm gonna have to go 2.5. But potentially for next season it could be a 3, but 2.5.
Okay. And I'm going to 2.5 just because I think it's worth watching. To me, that 2.5 to 3 break though is would I watch it again, and I would not watch this again personally.
Now, let me ask this of everybody: would you, if a season 2 came out, would you watch it?
Yes.
Yes, I would give it a try.
I'd probably start it, but it would have to be better than this season for me to keep going.
Okay.
How about you, Pete?
I would be willing to watch another season.
Okay. All right. So, well, there is that. We've got that going for us because there is going to be a season 2 they announced.
Yep.
So, Kate, what have we got for Disney Plus news this week?
It's time for the Disney Plus news. All right, first up, the new Doctor Who series will begin on the service in May of this year. This follows the Christmas specials introducing the new Doctor to Disney Plus. All right, I love Doctor Who, so
Have you been watching it?
I have not. I stopped after. I stopped halfway through the girl Doctor.
So you don't love Doctor Who then, really?
I was like, does
I watched
anyone here love Doctor Who? Like, has watched everything?
I didn't have a way to watch it for a while.
Yeah.
Well, now you do, and you have
But
no
now I do.
exclusive.
Yeah,
So,
so
actually,
and I
it's
might actually go back and rewatch, but some of them are heartbreaking.
I do not like Doctor Who, so
mm-mm.
You
No,
don't?
timey-wimey.
I do not.
Am I the only one here who likes Doctor Who?
No, I like Doctor Who.
You do
Okay.
Yes, I do.
at all?
Who's your favorite Doctor?
It would be Matt Smith.
Really?
Charles
Yeah.
Winchester, Hawkeye Pierce.
Hawkeye, definitely Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah. Okay, Kate.
Mine
Hawkeye
is
Pierce. Have you ever seen a show called MASH?
yeah, I love MASH.
Okay, then
Except
you
for the
didn't
finale. I
get-
don't like the finale.
You didn't get where Pete and I were going there. Anyway, so
Nice.
what else we got for Doctor?
What else on the Disney Plus news? All right, and last but not least, Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins is now on the service until March 27th. It follows the story of an American Samoan soccer team famous for getting beaten 31-0 in a FIFA competition in 2001 with a rating of 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is not one we will be reviewing. Although
And-
Taika
and-
Waititi is very funny.
I'm bummed because I have loved a lot of his movies, and the ratings for the reviews for this are bad, and it's not that hard to make a good sports movie. So I may watch it anyways.
It's not hard to make a good sports movie. It's hard to make a great sports movie.
It's definitely hard to make a great one, but like to make it entertaining enough that you don't mind watching it is not that hard. And the
But
rating, the reviews on this are not. Yeah, but even like Bend It Like Beckham is a good movie.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yes,
That was a deep
is.
cut, Pete. That was good.
No, it's not.
That was
Yes,
a
it
deep cut.
is. Okay, but that's not Disney, so we'll stop. I'll stop there.
So, okay. Thank you, Kate.
That's
Next
it.
week, being a leap year, we are going to go with the leapiest show that we could think of. We're going to go back to 1961's Absent Minded Professor this is Fred McMurray. This is Tommy Kirk. This is Flubber. This is
Keenan Wynn
So,
and Edwin.
yes, Ed Wynn is in it. Yes. And so
And-
is, oh gosh, the guy who's in charge of the other school. Help me out.
Keenan Wynn. That's what I'm saying. It's Edwin and Keenan, both
Edwin and
both
Keenan.
Edwin
Okay.
and Keenan Wynn. Keenan Wynn's Edwin's son.
Yeah. So,
And they're both in it.
Yeah. It was Keenan
And-
Wynn. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing next week. As I said at the beginning, if you've got suggestions for what we're going to be watching coming up, because we need some help, and especially in March and April, there's not much been announced because, again, no one was shooting last year. So we need some help. If you have something you want us to watch, please email us at plusplatoon@gmail.com. Facebook message us, Twitter message us, anything message us, send us, carrier pigeons, anything. Guys, we have new shows coming out every week on Thursdays on YouTube and all the major podcasting services. For Kate, Pete, and Steve, Gina in the background, I'm Derek, and we will see everyone next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews, as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.